Long before humans walked the earth, there was a world dominated by creatures of unimaginable scale and power. Giants that could crush trees beneath their feet, predators that inspired both awe and terror, and ecosystems so intricate that even the smallest insect played a crucial role in the web of life. And yet, as we marvel at the bones and fossils left behind, we assume these creatures were bound to the earth, creatures of land, air, and sea, unable to dream beyond the atmosphere. But what if that assumption is wrong? What if some branch of dinosaur intelligence evolved not only to match, but to surpass the cognitive abilities of modern humans, mastering the art of technology, engineering, and eventually space travel? The idea seems ludicrous at first glance, yet imagining it opens a doorway to questions that ripple across evolution, physics, and the very trajectory of life itself. To envision such a scenario, we start with what we know. Dinosaurs existed for over 160 million years, a span so vast that human civilization is a mere blink in comparison. During that time, countless species emerged, adapted, and disappeared, some exhibiting traits we now associate with intelligence: problem-solving behaviors, social hierarchies, tool use, and perhaps even rudimentary communication. Modern science has shown that certain dinosaurs, particularly theropods like the trudon, had relatively large brain-to-body ratios, dexterous forelimbs, and keen senses. While not comparable to Homo sapiens, these traits suggest a potential evolutionary trajectory toward higher intelligence, given time, environmental pressure, and opportunity. If evolution had taken a slightly different course, if extinction events had been delayed or diverted, could dinosaurs have become the architects of technology, the explorers of worlds beyond their own? Consider, for a moment, the sheer advantage of millions of years of development. While humans have existed for roughly 300,000 years, dinosaurs had tens of millions to refine skills, build structures, and perhaps develop a society capable of engineering beyond the capabilities of any mammal. The challenge of constructing tools, understanding energy, and manipulating the environment could have unfolded over epochs, creating civilizations that left marks not in stone or metal alone, but perhaps in ways that time has erased. Imagine cities not of brick and steel, but of organic architecture, structures grown, engineered, and adapted over millions of years, the culmination of evolution's slow and deliberate hand. And if such a civilization had reached the point of technology, the next logical frontier, space, would have beckoned. If the thought of ancient reptilian explorers venturing into the stars sparks your imagination, follow along, because the paths we are about to explore stretch from fossilized bones to the furthest reaches of possibility. Science provides tantalizing glimpses that make this speculation feel almost plausible. Birds, the direct descendants of theropod dinosaurs, already demonstrate remarkable problem-solving abilities, navigation skills, and even tool use. Crows, for example, can fashion hooks, recognize human faces, and plan for future events. If we extrapolate these traits backward through millions of years, with the pressures of survival and evolution, one could imagine dinosaurian intelligence eventually surpassing mammalian development. Coupled with anatomical advantages such as claws capable of fine manipulation, wings or limbs suitable for mobility, and a long evolutionary timeline, the potential for technological society, given favorable conditions, is staggering. It forces us to reconsider assumptions about intelligence, progress, and the contingency of human dominance. But evolution alone is not enough. Space exploration requires more than intelligence. It demands imagination, collaboration, and the understanding of energy and physics. Could dinosaurs, given millions of years of uninterrupted development, have discovered metallurgy, combustion, electricity, and eventually propulsion? Could they have engineered spacecraft, navigated the cosmos, and left traces of their passage scattered across the solar system? The fossil record is silent on such matters, and yet the very silence challenges us to think differently. Absence of evidence is not evidence of impossibility. If dinosaurs had evolved along a path leading to technological mastery, the universe might be littered with artifacts, derelict satellites, or even interstellar vessels, relics of a civilization that flourished and vanished long before mammals even appeared. Finally, consider the philosophical weight of the scenario. If dinosaurs reached space before humans, then our perception of being the pinnacle of intelligence, the first explorers of the cosmos, is humbled. We are no longer the only species capable of dreaming beyond the sky. We are inheritors of a legacy that might have been preceded by reptilian pioneers. And in this thought, there is both awe and caution. The universe may be far older, more complex, and more inhabited by intelligence than we can imagine. If pondering such an astonishing what if sparks curiosity, subscribe and stay with us, because the next part of our journey will push the limits of speculation, examining how such a civilization might have lived, explored, and ultimately vanished, leaving behind tantalizing hints for us to discover millions of years later. Now, imagine a world where the intelligence of dinosaurs continued to evolve, uninterrupted by the catastrophic asteroid impact 66 million years ago. Generations upon generations would have honed problem-solving skills, developed sophisticated communication systems, and built social structures capable of organizing vast projects. Over millions of years, these reptilian societies could have discovered metallurgy, harnessed energy sources, and even achieved propulsion technology far beyond what humans accomplished in the mere centuries since the Industrial Revolution. The sheer timescale is staggering. While humans required thousands of years to transition from stone tools to spacecraft, dinosaurs had tens of millions of years to refine, experiment, and perfect. If even a fraction of that potential had been realized, the skies above Earth might have been filled with structures or vehicles entirely unimaginable to us, testaments to a civilization whose scale of knowledge eclipsed ours long before Homo sapiens existed. Consider the practicalities of such a civilization reaching space. The development of rockets requires understanding combustion, thrust, fuel management, and aerodynamics. With millions of years to experiment, dinosaurs might have discovered chemical reactions, harnessed natural phenomena, or even found ways to manipulate magnetic fields or other energy sources to propel vessels beyond the atmosphere. And what of the spacecraft themselves? Imagine bioengineered ships grown from organic materials, living vessels adapted to the physiology of their reptilian creators, capable of sustaining life during interstellar travel. Perhaps their understanding of ecosystems, honed over millions of years on Earth, enabled them to create self-regulating habitats, vessels that were not only transportation, but ecosystems in miniature. The mind reels at the possibilities, each more astonishing than the last, and each challenging our assumptions about evolution, intelligence, and the inevitability of humans as the first explorers of space. The question of extinction adds a layer of chilling suspense. Even the most advanced civilization is vulnerable to catastrophe, and in this speculative scenario, it is tempting to wonder whether their mastery of technology contributed to their disappearance. Perhaps the asteroid that wiped out the dinosaurs was not entirely accidental, or perhaps their experiments with energy, propulsion, or even nuclear-like forces led to unintended consequences. Could a civilization so advanced, after reaching the stars, have faced self-inflicted destruction, leaving only traces scattered across the Earth and the solar system? The possibility forces a confrontation with humility. Intelligence alone does not guarantee survival, and the most advanced beings can vanish as completely as any species less capable. And yet, in their potential disappearance lies a haunting beauty, a reminder that the cosmos is vast, indifferent, and yet full of histories we may never fully uncover. Extrapolating further, consider the interstellar implications. If dinosaurs had achieved spaceflight, the universe may already be littered with evidence of their presence. Derelict spacecraft, satellites in orbit, mining operations on asteroids, or even colonized worlds in distant solar systems. Perhaps they seeded planets with life, experimented with bioengineering, or encoded knowledge in artifacts designed to endure eons. The absence of concrete evidence does not negate the possibility. Our own searches have barely scratched the surface of nearby star systems, let alone the interstellar medium. And even on Earth, geological processes, tectonic shifts, and extinction events may have erased or buried the most direct traces of their civilization, leaving subtle anomalies, patterns in fossils, unusual mineral formations, or artifacts yet to be identified, that hint at a lost era of intelligence and ambition. The speculative power of this scenario also lies in its philosophical resonance. If dinosaurs reached space before humans, we are not the pinnacle of evolution, nor the first to dream beyond the sky. Instead, we inherit a cosmos already shaped, or at least touched, by predecessors who reached for the stars long before us. It is a humbling notion. Human ingenuity is remarkable, but it may be the continuation of a longer story, one that began millions of years earlier with creatures who walked, ran, and soared across a very different Earth. And if this vision sparks a sense of awe, consider following the next stage of the journey, because the final part will explore not just their civilization, but the mysteries of their disappearance, the echoes of their potential achievements, and what it means for our own place in the cosmos. As we peer into this astonishing possibility, the mind begins to stretch beyond the familiar, beyond the limits of reason. Imagine, for a moment, a galaxy subtly shaped by reptilian pioneers, creatures whose civilizations flourished, mastered the stars, and then vanished long before humans ever took their first tentative steps toward intelligence. Perhaps their spacecraft still drift among the asteroids, ancient sentinels of a bygone era. Perhaps some colonized worlds beyond our observation, leaving behind ecosystems crafted with care, evolution guided by intelligence now lost to time. The scale is staggering. A civilization that had millions of years to refine technology, art, and knowledge, potentially leaving a cosmic footprint so subtle that we detect only whispers, hints, and anomalies. And if the thought of ancient dinosaur explorers roaming the cosmos sparks your curiosity, subscribe and journey further with us, because the universe is far larger and stranger than we have yet imagined. The implications extend beyond mere technology. Such a civilization would have been capable of understanding the forces that govern the universe: gravity, magnetism, energy, perhaps even the very building blocks of matter. Could they have manipulated these forces in ways we cannot yet conceive, constructing megastructures, manipulating planetary systems, or navigating the stars with precision and foresight? And if their disappearance was not total, if remnants survived, seeds of intelligence waiting to be rediscovered, then the universe may already be infused with legacies of creativity and exploration that predate human civilization by millions of years. To imagine this is to confront a profound paradox. Intelligence is both fleeting and eternal, capable of unimaginable achievements, yet vulnerable to the indifferent march of time. Even on Earth, traces of such a civilization could exist in forms so subtle that we overlook them. Fossilized remains of unusual behaviors, patterns in geological formations, or isotopic anomalies might hint at manipulation beyond natural processes. Perhaps the very evolution of birds, descendants of theropod dinosaurs, is itself a legacy of selective pressures shaped by a civilization whose understanding of biology surpassed ours. And perhaps, in a distant future, human explorers or robotic probes may stumble upon artifacts, orbiting debris, or structures that challenge every assumption about what preceded us. The silence of the fossil record and the void of space only heighten the mystery, reminding us that absence of evidence is not necessarily evidence of absence. Philosophically, the notion of dinosaur spacefarers reframes our place in the cosmos. Humans have long considered themselves the culmination of evolution, the first intelligence capable of reaching the stars. Yet if others came before us, if ancient species achieved technological mastery and cosmic exploration, then humanity is part of a continuing story, a chapter in a narrative far older and more complex than we have imagined. The universe becomes a tapestry of possibility, with civilizations rising, exploring, and sometimes vanishing, leaving behind traces of brilliance for future generations to discover. There is both humility and wonder in this perspective. We inherit the cosmos not as the first, but as explorers following paths that may have been carved by predecessors long extinct. And if this vision ignites awe within you, follow us by subscribing, because the next revelations may rewrite our understanding of intelligence, evolution, and the possibilities of life across the stars. Finally, consider the ultimate wonder. The Earth, once a world of giants, may have been the cradle of civilizations capable of reaching beyond its atmosphere. The asteroid that ended the age of dinosaurs may have been more than a planetary tragedy. It may have extinguished intelligence on a scale we can barely imagine, resetting the evolutionary clock and giving rise, eventually, to us. Whether or not this speculation is true, the thought invites humility and imagination. Life is fragile, intelligence is precious, and the universe may have already witnessed feats that dwarf our current achievements. Each fossil, each star, each planet becomes a reminder that the cosmos is full of stories yet untold, histories yet undiscovered, and possibilities that stretch beyond comprehension. So we look upward, not just at the stars, but at the echoes of potential civilizations that may have come before. And in doing so, we are reminded of our own fleeting place in a vast, dynamic universe. Every question we ask, every discovery we make, and every act of curiosity is a step along the path of intelligence stretching across time and space. If the vision of ancient dinosaur explorers and their cosmic journey sparks wonder, subscribe and continue with us, because the universe is full of mysteries, and the next revelation may be waiting just beyond the edge of what we know. And perhaps, in the end, the greatest marvel is not merely that life might have reached the stars long before humans, but that we are here now, capable of imagining it, capable of asking questions that stretch across millions of years, capable of wonder itself, the ultimate legacy of intelligence, no matter which species first claimed the cosmos. The universe we inhabit, vast and infinite as it seems, may be only a single page in a cosmic library whose volumes stretch beyond comprehension. Stars burn, galaxies spin, and black holes devour matter with an elegance and brutality that humanity can scarcely fathom. Yet all of this, every quark, every photon, every swirling spiral of galaxies, might exist as one reality among countless others. Imagine a reality where every choice you have ever made, every path taken or foregone, unfolds in a parallel existence somewhere, forming an infinite lattice of possibilities. And then imagine that our universe, with all its apparent laws and constants, is not the limit of existence, but merely one bubble in a cosmic sea so immense that the mind falters in attempting to grasp it. To contemplate what lies beyond the multiverse is to step into a realm where physics, philosophy, and imagination collide, where certainty dissolves, and the very nature of reality trembles under the weight of possibility. To approach this, we start with the familiar, the branching paths of choice. Imagine a single decision in your life, simple yet consequential, turning left instead of right, speaking instead of remaining silent, pursuing a dream or abandoning it. Every option you select creates a distinct chain of consequences, a world that unfolds uniquely from that moment. On a human scale, these are ripples across the pond of life. Now scale this concept up by orders of magnitude to the cosmic stage. Every quantum fluctuation, every collapse of a particle's wave function, every event from the birth of stars to the collision of galaxies may branch into infinite outcomes. The multiverse, in some theories, is not merely an abstract idea. It is a literal structure where every possible universe, every configuration of matter and energy, exists somewhere, each governed by its own laws, constants, and histories. And if pondering this vast lattice ignites wonder within you, consider subscribing, because what we are about to explore will take you even further, into realms that challenge not just physics, but imagination itself. Scientific theories give structure to this audacious speculation. In cosmology, inflationary theory suggests that the universe underwent a rapid expansion immediately after the Big Bang, creating pockets of space-time that could evolve independently, forming bubble universes with distinct properties. String theory proposes that our three-dimensional reality may be one of countless multidimensional spaces, each a potential universe with its own physical constants. Quantum mechanics hints at parallel realities through the many worlds interpretation, where every possible outcome occurs simultaneously, branching endlessly with every interaction. Taken together, these frameworks suggest a cosmos so vast and intricate that our observable universe may be but a fraction of the totality, a single note in a symphony of existence that stretches beyond imagination. Yet even within these scientific constructs, the stakes of contemplating the multiverse become deeply personal. If infinite realities exist, then every possibility you can imagine is being played out somewhere. Civilizations rise and fall, planets flourish and decay, consciousness manifests in forms both familiar and utterly alien. Perhaps in some realities, life never emerged at all. In others, intelligence evolved along paths we cannot recognize, producing beings whose perception of reality dwarfs our own. The implications are staggering. Our universe may not be unique, our choice is not singular, and our existence just one thread in a tapestry woven across infinite dimensions. If the thought of being one note in such a cosmic symphony captivates you, follow along by subscribing, because the next step will challenge the very notion of reality, delving into the paradoxes, mysteries, and mind-bending possibilities that lie beyond the multiverse. From a philosophical standpoint, the multiverse also reframes meaning and agency. If infinite universes exist, each variation of every event is realized, yet our experience remains singular, our consciousness bound to one path. This raises profound questions. Does free will exist if all outcomes are already manifested elsewhere? Is meaning derived from the choices we make here, or is it the sheer act of awareness, the ability to perceive and reflect, that gives significance to our lives? The multiverse, paradoxically, magnifies both our insignificance and our power. The infinitude of realities is both humbling and awe-inspiring, a reminder that existence is simultaneously vast, complex, and intimately connected to consciousness itself. Finally, consider the tantalizing possibility that universes might not be entirely separate. Some speculative theories propose the existence of interactions between universes, collisions, information exchange, or subtle influences that leave traces in the fabric of our own cosmos. Could dark matter, cosmic anomalies, or unexplained quantum phenomena be whispers from neighboring universes? Could our reality, as we perceive it, be shaped not only by our universe's own history, but by echoes, overlaps, or interactions with countless others? The mind reels at the implications. Reality becomes a multidimensional web, consciousness a navigator of infinite possibility, and the universe we inhabit only a single frame in a film of unending complexity. If your curiosity has been sparked, subscribe and continue with us, because the journey into what lies beyond the multiverse is only beginning, and the paths we are about to explore stretch across infinity itself.